Hello and welcome to the Cook's Pantry. We are back here at Cobram Estate. I'm here to cook you a recipe today that I hope is going to change the way you think about tabbouleh. I reckon when you hear that word, you're thinking of a chopped up salad that's decaying in a kebab shop window. Well, that's not the case at all. I'm here to show you that tabbouleh is back and it's a thing of beauty. Now, the extra virgin olive oil from Cobram that we're going to be working with today is the classic, and that's going to go into an absolute killer dressing that is using pomegranate molasses as the backbone to give it that serious zing that we all know and love about a tabbouleh. The first step that we're taking in the right direction, instead of using the classic bulgur or the cracked wheat that goes through a tabbouleh, we're going with some cooked freekeh. If you're buying your freekeh from a supermarket or your health food store, just follow the directions on the packet because that's exactly what we did. So we've got the cooked freekeh in there. Now, because I'm battling with the elements just a little bit today, I'm going to be making this salad in a little bit of a different method, but I promise you one thing, the flavour will not be compromised. We're going to go in next with red shallots. So we're just going to finely slice them. Whenever you're cutting, dicing, chopping, always try to give yourself a flat surface. So these, if you're trying to cut it like that, it's going to be a nightmare and it's highly likely you're going to cut yourself. So cut it in half, sit them on the board, and then you can start to finely slice. Another tip, once you start slicing this a lot, you get to that halfway point where you start to have a lot less to hold on to and control. So just roll it over and you've got another flat spot, and it just makes a lot more sense to continue to give yourself flat surfaces to work with. So you'll see we get to the halfway mark, roll it over, and then you've got more to grip onto. In we go. So if you're making this at home in the confines of four walls where there can't be touched by wind, I would make this a little bit differently. I'd basically build it because I think gone are the days of mixing everything together and just plonking it in a bowl. If you build it and start with the freekeh, your shallots, cucumber, the toasted pepitas, it really lets every ingredient speak for itself. And it's those little simple things that you can do that will really give your food that wow factor and impress the people that you're feeding. We're just gonna go in and make some cucumber ribbons. So a good old veggie peeler, roll down. As soon as you start to get to the seeds, change, new face. Seeds are coming, change. So we don't want to have the seeds in there. They tend to break down a little bit too easily. We want to keep this cucumber nice and firm. All right, before they blow away, they're going to go in. You've got an ingredient that is, I guess, what you consider a bit of a staple, nothing too fancy, but purely taking it from something that you would normally do that with and turning it into a little cucumber ribbon. It eats differently, it looks different, it's much more exciting. So same ingredient, cut in a different way, presented in a different way, and that looks a lot more enticing than that. So again, cucumber ribbons. All right, here we go. I have no doubt some of you are watching and going, I hope to God that boy doesn't throw that in the bin, and I absolutely would not. That is something I would stick in a freezer bag, rip that out and put it in your juice. That's what I do at home, if I'm being honest. That, some lime, some apple, bit of celery, carrot, killer. Okay, so in here we've got a bunch of parsley, coriander and basil that we've just picked off. I'm gonna throw all this in here. Gonna give that a quick mix to make sure it doesn't blow away. All right, I think they're safe for the time being. I've just noticed these guys have got a killer bunch of mint up here. So I'm just gonna pinch a couple of pieces of that. All right. Oh, all right. If you've got a little herb garden at home and you don't have exactly what I'm using today, it doesn't matter, you know. If you've got it at home, use it. Even some Thai basil would be amazing. Let's give that a mix through. Okay, I can set this to the side now and onto, I'm gonna say it is the star of the show. The dressing is an absolute cracker. So we're just gonna do it up in our little jar here. If you've got a little mustard or jam jar left at home, awesome for salad dressings. So we need about 50 mils of the pomegranate molasses. Now, the molasses, it's basically a reduction of the pomegranate juice. So pomegranates have got an incredible acidity and sweetness to them, and that's basically it in a concentrate. It is phenomenal. Some supermarkets have it, health food stores, any other specialty food stores have it. I would highly recommend getting on the train and trying to find some of this stuff to have in the cupboard, because if you're making salad dressings, it just gives it so much oomph. Like, it's got body, it's got acidity, there's a little bit of spice to it. It's incredible. It also plays a role in emulsifying the dressing. The extra virgin olive oil that we're working with today is the classic, so medium bodied. It's not gonna have too much bitterness. Now, zest of 1 lemon and about 50 mils of the lemon juice. So just run this over the box grater. If you've got a little microplane at home, that's great. But I think a good old box grater, in all honesty, I think it's faster and it does just as good a job. 1 clove of garlic, again, just on the box grater, get it nice and fine. For 50 mils, this looks like a pretty juicy lemon, so I'm thinking about half. Now we're gonna go in, we've got a teaspoon of sumac. It's a berry. It's got a nice citrusy, lemony flavor to it, which is a classic ingredient in a tabbouleh. And then the final thing, a really good, generous pinch of salt. Because we're off-site, we didn't have the lid to fit this jar, but it's exactly what we wanted to show you guys what's happening in there. Some good old classic alfoil. Gonna throw that over the top and give it a good shake. All right, you can see what's happened there, and that's the role that the pomegranate molasses has played. It's emulsified it. So you've got a really beautiful dressing that's got some nice viscosity to it, so it will cling onto all of these ingredients in here. And now we'll just give that a quick toss, coat that. Yeah, there's plenty in there. Okay, here we go. That is what a tabbouleh should be looking like. We've got some semi-dried tomatoes. You just pick them up from your local deli. I love that, right towards the end and the wind starts to kick up. Here we go. So this is Persian feta, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this stuff. It's got a beautiful acidity. There's really nothing else like it. So, all right, I'm not even gonna worry about that. We've traveled too far through this recipe to let it be ruined by a bit of wind. Okay, and these are just some toasted pepitas. To me, this salad has really got everything you would want. It's got freshness, it's got acidity, it's got texture. There is my freaka tabbouleh. I would like to think that we have tipped our hat and paid respect to where this beautiful dish came from. And looking at that right now, I reckon tabbouleh's back, and hopefully she's here to stay.